I grew up in a Christian home, and if I wasn't in church, I was in school. I lived a very blessed life. My mother was a gospel singer, and our church always had a choir. And I would sing in the choir, and later became choir director and then minister of music. I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of the artists of traditional gospel music because I used to have 2 radio shows and a television show in Albany, New York, entitled Another Look at Gospel. I was first diagnosed with severe depression in my mid-20s. I grew up in a Pentecostal church. Mental health and depression in particular are not terms that we use or talk about in a way that if you feel like you're suffering with them, that you would go ready to get help. I very much hid the fact that I was feeling depressed. Well, it got progressively worse to the point where I had to stop doing the things that I enjoyed doing. And the remedy for that was medication and therapy. Takes me back to my Pentecostal background. Medication and therapy were not things that we discussed freely. I struggled with being open with my family and church family about really what was going on. And so it's like I lived in isolation while I was trying to help myself or get help. When I did start to feel better, I came off the medication. And that was an obvious mistake in hindsight, because the same thing happened again. And it took 3 of those situations for me to actually resolve within myself that I will always be on this medication. And that I would constantly have to have the intervention of a psychiatrist or therapist. I had come out of the hospital and was living in an apartment that was not suited to my personality or my background at all. The environment was very bad. And I had a case manager who said, there is a place on University that we'd like for you to see. And then she told me that it was DePaul. I waited and determined that what was best for me at the time to stop isolating was to get in a program where there was supervision if needed, and where there were some expectations placed on me that I didn't have to place on myself. Because follow through I will do. But when I'm in the state of depression, I don't do a to-do list and I don't follow it, you know. And that's how DePaul first benefited me. I've been with them now for, this will be the 5th year. And the person I was when I moved in is so far removed from now. And I do really have to say that the stable living environment was key. And the safe living environment was extremely key. If I needed assistance in counseling or medication, it was there. But if I didn't, I still had the ability to grow on my own. And that's what has happened. DePaul has served as a guide for me coming out of the depression. It has served as a path for me to follow, but I'm the one who have to put the markers in. I feel independent. I have been able to tap into the inner interests that I've had that I let lie dormant. So it has in fact given me back my life, and it is causing me to look beyond where I was. I live in the DePaul Neighborhood apartments in Rochester, New York. I was provided with a very, very nice studio. And it was my determination that my studio apartment would look like the apartment that I would want if I were in DePaul or not in DePaul. Feeling like I'm going home instead of I'm going to an apartment was very important to me. When I'm in depression, I never think I'm going to get back to where I used to be. Right now, when I'm in my apartment, I feel that, okay, the next step is you're going to get where you used to be. Could not have done that had I not been living with DePaul and having the services that they provided. I've had some good days. I've had some hills to climb. I've had some weary days and some lonely nights. But when I look around and I think things over, all of my good days outweigh my bad days, and I won't complain.